And now, the Break It Down Show with John and Pete.
So I'm glad that we're all meeting for the first time tonight. I mean, I'm meeting you for the first time tonight. And I can make one solid observation, which is that you are all for bananas.
Yes, thank you. I resemble that remark.
So tonight on the Break It Down Show, right here from Mindseed Soundstage, we are graced with the presence of Skip the Needle.
Nice.
Welcome, ladies.
Yeah.
Hey, thank
My
you.
goodness,
Great to
thank
be
you
here.
for tolerating us.
It took a minute to get set up.
It did take a minute to get set
But
up.
how it always is, though.
And
the
thank you,
off-the-air
Darrell,
time
because
stuff.
Darrell is our hero in here so frequently.
Yeah, Darrell is
Oh,
a hero.
I'm sorry.
I know he didn't say many words, but he just fixed
just
it.
did
Did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
He was
indeed.
like, oh.
He's a fixer of
And he
stuff.
went out
Man
and
of
got
action.
yeah.
Yeah, he made microphones show up. We love Darrell. He's awesome.
He's
Yeah.
a-
And we
yeah,
love you
shout
ladies.
out.
You guys were killing.
Thanks, man.
We're not even drinking or nothing. You guys are killing already.
What do you mean?
We don't need no.
not?
Yeah, what do you mean?
All right, we're not. Okay. Establish that rule.
Oh, is that? Yeah, was that a rule? Is that hard and fast?
Now
I
it is.
see.
Yeah, we see what's going on. All right.
Well, I haven't seen
I'll
you.
put
do
that
it.
away.
Y'all, come on now.
I know.
So let's start at the beginning. What's the matter with y'all?
Once upon a time.
No.
Is everybody from the Bay Area here?
Everybody in Skip the Needle, pretty much, they're from the Bay Area. I'm
Yeah.
the only one that's really not. Shelly, 3 years old, that doesn't count. You shouldn't even brought that up. You're from Berkeley, dude. You're the most Berkeley person I know.
That is
It's
true.
You're from San Mateo,
That's
and you're
true.
from Oakland.
No, I'm from San Francisco.
San Francisco. Oh,
Francisco.
But I am
all right.
from
I was
Oakland
trying
now.
to give you Oakland.
No,
yeah.
please give me Oakland.
Yeah,
'cause I live in Oakland.
I'd
now.
take Oakland if I
Yeah.
was you.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the city?
Oh,
I don't
please.
want-
Where do you want to start?
Wait,
What's
you
wrong
want
with
you
the
want
city?
this whole thing to be about what's wrong with the
Hey,
city?
I'm from Berkeley, so you don't want to ask me.
Yeah,
The city is fine. The
Yeah.
city's fine.
it's
just-
fine for those
just
people.
not as
They
nice
need
as
to stay
Oakland.
over
That's
there.
all.
Man.
It's just the sunny side of the bay. How about
There you
that?
go. I like
That's
that.
all. I don't know. See,
How
this,
about
this
Katie?
is crazy.
Can
Yeah.
I ask you something?
Yes.
Do you ever get a word in edgewise?
Not usually.
Katie's the middle
Not
child.
usually.
Katie's the middle
Very
child.
good observation. Usually there's no one around except the four of us, so there's no one that can
Even
back
when you
that
try to
up.
talk, they're laughing.
There goes the headphone now.
Oh my God! Because we remember it was about it was a couple months ago.
That's funny.
That Katie just started on this tear about how I start to say something and then I think, well, that's a great idea, and then
Yeah. It's a bit of chatter
and we all felt bad, but
for like a
Not
second.
bad.
for a little while.
Hey, you express yourself through your guitar.
That's
playing.
I was going to
Exactly.
say, don't let the
I
smooth
express
taste
myself.
fool you. Please.
Seriously, she can shut us down.
Yeah. Katie can talk. She being cool.
So this is a 2-guitar band.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about the construction of songs. Who starts off? Who does what around here?
I do everything.
Everything.
All right.
Okay.
Such modesty.
So we're going to play a little
that's
Liars Club
terrible.
here. There's going to be 4 statements, and one of them will be true.
No, it's terrible, man. We're all here.
I know. Also, there's a lot of lack of sleep going on.
We-
around here.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
maybe
just what we
that's
need.
it. Yeah, right?
We are a tremendously collaborative band, and songs come up. I'd say kernels of songs happen. Like we might, if we're not rehearsing like a specific song or something like that, what will often happen is we'll just start jamming, and in about a 40-minute period of jamming through stuff, we'll probably get like 4 kernels of a song that, will then, okay, let's go home and work on those.
And germinate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we've done that so much in so many of our tunes. I mean, there's also times when like somebody will go home and go, oh, hey, I started this and bring it into the band. That'll happen too. I guess still the majority of the tunes that we're performing right now are probably stuff that really came up organically playing with each other.
Did you guys know
Yeah.
that going in, that you were going to be that type of band when you wrote, or did you learn that?
Yeah, we did, because that's how we started playing together.
Nobody, yes.
But like it wasn't like intentional. We know how we're gonna do.
We didn't
We're just
start a
friends.
band.
Right.
It was like, and I always say this. I'm like knocking on Shelly's door. Can you come out and play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Vicky, can you come out and play?
Yeah.
Katie, can you come out and play? It's like friends getting together, and
Yeah.
we're musicians, so we just started jamming.
Yeah.
And it was
I mean, that's exactly how it happened
Yeah.
because somebody had just played a gig. I think Shelley and I.
I don't even remember. It's
Anyway,
all
it was a gig. We were all hanging around.
entangled.
Some of us were there watching it, and some of us were playing.
Yeah.
Coffee, you wanted to put a jam together. Coffee volunteered her house.
And Coffee and I had been playing together when you started playing drums,
Right.
and we just got together and just started doing
jamming.
things. Yeah, exactly.
That was, but I just happened to be there, and I was like, I want to come.
Yeah.
And so I came. You were on drums, you were on guitar, and the only thing left was bass. So now I play bass.
I'll let our listeners know who plays what.
Okay.
You guys mix it up or what?
This is Shelley. I play lead guitar and lead vocals.
This is how we
She's
do
going to
it.
figure it
This
out.
is how we do it on stage.
All right.
It sounds
No. This is Coffee, and I play drums and Skip Donito and vocals.
You play lead
She plays
drums,
lead drums
and lead vocals.
And I'm Vicky Randall, and I play lead bass and lead vocals.
There's a lot of leaders in there.
And I'm Katie Colpitz, and I play lead guitar and lead vocals.
Yes. And we're all lead songwriters.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Every
There's a
one
lot
of
of
us.
leading.
Yeah, it's a highly...
You guys are a sonic salad just sitting here.
Oh, wow, I like that. That's a good one. We got to use that quote. That's a good
Nice. A sonic sound.
Well, first of all, we insist on having fun. Because,
Yes.
Absolutely.
really, that's the thing.
We never would have guessed.
That's the thing that makes this band a band.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I am so not interested in work. Music is not work to me.
Well, they
music
call it,
has to be fun.
They call it playing music, not
Yeah.
working music.
Thank you.
Playing music, yeah.
No, I had a job too.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
a job for 18 years.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
It was a music job. And
Will you tell us about your job of 18 years? Because I know everybody wants to hear a little bit about that.
I worked in the Tonight Show band
Yeah.
as a percussionist and a lead vocalist. And I had a great time. I enjoyed it very much. It was a really different experience than almost anything I could even try to describe, but it was a lot of work. It was a lot of pressure. We had to really pay attention to everything that was going on. If somebody was sitting on the couch and like some actor person was talking about, I used to be in a musical that, like when I was in high school, like we would be scrambling around on the bandstand looking for what key we could possibly do the song in if they start to sing it,
Yeah.
and try to be ready and like doing the Psychic Friends Network back and forth so that we can try and figure out if we can maybe play the song, and it was just like, it was really intense, and it really was work. It was, cues and, running in and coming out. And anyway, it was, and it was work. I was well paid. It was a lot of things, but it wasn't as much fun as getting together with your friends and jamming, and that's kind of what I wanted to do after all that time, was come back here and do that.
Well, the vibe with you guys is obvious.
Yeah.
It's so clear that you guys just spill out good time. And the funny thing that, a lot of bands, when you see them together, the chemistry has to be evident. If the band is really doing it, if there's four people sitting around and they don't like each other, well, if they've been together for 37 years, maybe they can squeeze that out. Yeah. But clearly, you ladies are having a good time.
Yeah.
So
these guys have been doing it for a lot of years, and I don't know.
Coffee and
they
Shelley?
still like each other. Coffee and Shelley, yeah.
well, they sat next to each other. So
They
that's
did.
good.
I was just at your house yesterday, wasn't I?
So you all sing. You all said you sing lead and everything. Yeah. Do you do more harmonizing? Does one person take a song and it's their song? How do you guys sort out who is going to sing what?
Well, it depends. Again, it's like sometimes people. Were you going to say something, Katie?
Katie trying to jump in.
No.
Could you answer that question?
Totally.
Vicky left her chair laughing.
You just made that face. You just made that.
I don't know.
Oh, Katie.
No, actually.
Pete, do you mind asking that question again?
The question got lost.
I think it depends on. I wasn't actually going to answer that question, but I can. I think it all depends on how it flows. Like Shelley was saying, that there are some songs that one person may lead the writing on, or hey, I had this idea and I wrote the lyrics on, so they end up being the lead singer. But there's songs where just recently, I wrote the guitar riffs to a song, and Vicky wrote the lyrics to the song, so she sings lead on that song. And, there's other songs like that as well, where it's just, we come up together with the music as the band, and then it's kind of like whoever flows with the lyrics first.
Yeah. If you brought the potato salad, then you're the one who brought the potato salad.
Well, kind of. You have to clean
You've got to clean that pot. Yeah. One thing that's cool too is that a lot of our tunes also kind of back and forth. I mean, because all four of us do sing, and we like to take. I mean, I think you're starting to get into that piece. It's like we do like the harmonies, and we like to get at least 3-part harmonies in there. And just like a lot of times we'll have like 2 people sing one part, 2 people sing another part, and it'll go back and forth. And it's. I think it's awesome because I mean, just as an audience member. I unfortunately, maybe this will sound really critical or whatever, but I think that over many, many years, people have become trained to not expect decent vocals out of bands. And it's really amazing that we do. I mean, we can do the 4-part harmonies, and we can totally lay that down or utilize all of the sounds all the textures that we have by, like I said, having songs where, one person might be singing lead, but then a whole other person is singing a different part of the song.
Yeah. Well, these women are mad women with harmonies. Like, you start singing something and they'll just all sing along, and it's 3-part harmonies automatic. Yeah. I mean, automatically. I'm more like, I can double you, or I can sing along, or I can sing lead.
That is so not true. That is so not true.
Or maybe I can harmonize if it happens. But
Vicky's the harmony goddess. Vicky's the one.
Yeah,
really.
I was going to say. Mad genius.
Yeah, she is mad genius.
You guys definitely, if you get left bored for like 2 minutes, apparently, you're going to start singing something, whether it's Cher or Love Boat or anything. You don't care.
That's pretty much what you're doing for the hour that you were setting up.
Yeah. Busting out some tune.
Does it count as harmony if you sing the melody an octave in either direction? Because that's my way of, I can harmonize. I just sing the melody again, but down here.
Right, like an octave.
It's an eighth.
Yeah, it's an eighth. You're just singing the octave higher or lower.
Right.
Yeah.
Not really harmonizing, but
don't shake your head. That's not the spirit of this conversation.
Okay,
the spirit of this conversation.
I went to sleep and I just woke up. I'm sorry.
Shake it off.
I'm just shaking it off, and that was right in the rhythm of.
What's also
I'm great at the
do you
octave
know what
harmony.
you call a person who hangs out with musicians? The drummer. I'm a drummer too, so I had to bust that out.
Dude, I know. There's 3 drummers in the room. Are you a drummer?
No, I'm just a knucklehead.
Oh, okay. There's 6 knuckleheads. So there's 3 drummers.
I'm a wannabe. Come on now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
Okay. I auditioned for Katie's old band.
If you're a wannabe, then I'm a wannabe.
Oh, you're a way better drummer than I am.
See what you started? This is because I play bass in another band.
I'm into this. I'm digging this a lot.
Yeah, no, I gotta say this because I mean, Coffee Brown is like, she's like Prince. She can play anything, and she does.
Woman.
And drums are just her most recent instrument.
Yeah.
Coffee said, I want to play drums in this one. So then now she's the drummer.
She just started with the proclamation.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
Not just play drums, but you're going to drum and sing at the same time.
She does. Not only
Like,
does
that's
she do
easy.
that, but
is correct.
There's a song that we do where she basically just it's a lyrical song. It's a song where she basically just speaks this amazing story. She tells a story, and she's playing drums while she's telling a story. It's like she has the ability to do things.
Actually, don't tell her, because I was the one who pointed. When she first started doing it, I said to Coffee, that's really hard to do. It's hard to talk and keep a beat at the same time. It's really difficult. And no, seriously,
let her know.
This is not a joke. She didn't know that was difficult. Like, don't tell her.
It's astonishing to me.
And it's like rock solid tempo. Being able to
That's
talk.
pretty annoying.
One of our one of our favorite people and people we talk about a lot is Levon Helm, and he could do that. And he's like,
Levon
it's
Helm.
easy. I control the beat, so I just.
That's true.
And I sing to it. You're like, well, all right, yes, that's easy for you, Levon, but for the rest of
Thanks
us.
for understanding everybody else's play.
Well, it is true. He's in charge, or was in charge.
Yeah.
I got a chance to work with him 2 years ago.
No kidding.
Yeah, because Mavis and he were doing a record together. They did a live record at the
At the farm.
Thank you, wherever the barn.
The barn. Yeah.
Did a live show. We went in and rehearsed for a few days, and they were going to release the record. They were actually going to tour together, and then he got sick again, and so the record's still there, and maybe they'll let it go someday in the future, and if so, I'll be on it.
Yeah.
You know,
That seriously just made me well up a little bit.
I know.
I can't
he
even.
he was amazing. But you know what we get to do this summer is we get to do a short tour with Amy, his daughter, who is amazing. She's an amazing singer. And so we've got some double bills this summer with Mavis Staples and Amy Helm.
Sweet.
Wow.
That's awesome. But that was astonishing. That was an astonishing experience. I think I've led a really charmed life.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do either of you have any like records at home or decent, music collection that spans the last 30 years?
I'd say I have a decent music
I would say
collection.
you've got some Vicki Randall on
Sure.
some of those records for sure.
Yeah,
I
sure.
guarantee it.
I bet.
Yeah, she's done a lot of recording.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Just to bring up Levon Helm and then have you go, oh, yeah. We do.
Yeah, I played with him.
Yeah.
Plus every other person that's come through the Tonight
That might
Show
be
for
slightly
18
more
years.
annoying than I can play drums and talk at the same time.
It probably is.
We're annoying that way.
Katie, how might you annoy us?
Gosh, plenty of ways, I'm sure. None of them as cool as everybody else, though.
Oh, that's so not true.
Not at all.
Oh my God.
Come on
Not at
now.
all.
See, that's the thing about this band too, is that everybody is super cool and is super specifically cool.
You do. You. Each
It's
one of
true.
you does have an actual brand of cool that is unique,
I think
and
that's
that's
true.
clear.
That's nice.
So
My cool is just old. I'm just old. I'm like the old person in the band. So I'm just like, I have old. I'll bring that.
You're the funny person in the band. That's who you are.
You're pretty funny.
Vicki Randall is funny.
Katie is
Katie is rock and roll.
rock and roll.
Katie
Katie
is
is
cool.
the edge.
Yeah.
Hey, all right.
Yeah,
Thanks,
man.
Getting the
guys.
voice.
There you go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
All right.
Do it, man.
Prolific writer. I mean, you write all the time.
my
You bring
God.
all of this music and the
Yeah.
voice and the playing and all of that. Please.
Thanks.
It's true.
You're a badass.
Yeah. She's just modest. That's what it is.
not
She's
voted.
just modest.
no kidding.
Yeah,
You know, if
just
you're
come
gonna-
see the show.
Come,
Come-
Yeah, actually, really
and
should.
Katie has like followers.
Oh,
Her
my
own
God, yeah.
followers. Katie has like groupies for Katie. That's a good thing.
Well,
it's true.
'Cause she's a badass.
Yeah.
And she's super sexy, and she just
And super
Hey.
super
See, I don't
modest.
even.
Check
I
that
don't.
out.
This
Why,
is great.
why would you ever talk?
I'm gonna keep not
keep
talking.
going.
I'm
Why
just
would you
gonna
ever
stay quiet.
Now, you
This
got
is
groupies,
working.
All of a sudden you got sexy.
This
You're just
is-
sitting there doing nothing.
Hey,
Minding your own business.
this is working. We all bring something different to the band, and
So, are you something other than a guitar player in other bands?
well, no, in all my other bands, I play guitar and I sing. I like to do other things. I also, when we started this band, I was like, yeah, I want to play some drums too. Kind of when it's,
Yeah. We were rotating
You know,
a little bit
We were
more.
thinking about it, yeah.
yeah, and when we would sit around and talk about it, because we've all played shows together, our other bands and older bands and everything. And so for years, be like, we should play together. We should play together, and Shelley and I had played together and for a long time we'd sit around and say, why don't we do something together? So I'd like to say I play other things, but I do just play guitar and sing in my other bands and write the music and stuff.
You don't
but
have to say
Oh, is
just.
that all?
You don't have to say just.
Well-
right.
well,
Write all the
'cause
music, sing
I
all the
have-
songs, play all the.
professional badass.
Yeah.
I just.
Drag around groupies, be hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a burden.
I still don't discount the possibility that one day we'll be able to unseat coffee off of that.
Yeah.
drum
See,
round.
that is what happened.
Yeah.
I like playing the drums.
Yeah,
I know.
but-
I'll get off.
But just here, hand her the
off.
just
bass.
do one.
That's,
We'll just do
Hand her the
one.
bass,
That's fine.
Or actually, the thought I always have is that we'll actually all switch
Yeah, just
instruments
move.
because that means
Yeah.
that you would have to play guitar, coffee.
Like a volleyball
Yeah.
court.
That's the only-
It's
yeah.
everybody
No.
going to get up and rotate one spot.
Well, yeah.
to
Well,
the
the only way that everybody could play something that was not the instrument they usually play, you'd have to play guitar, and one of us would play drums, one of us would play bass, and
well, that's
you
perfect.
play
You got two
guitar
guitars.
too.
Well, I can
Yeah.
play guitar, but I do play
But
guitar. So.
Right.
Vicky
Yeah,
plays
I
a
know.
mean guitar.
Well, coffee.
Yeah.
I could do a little waka.
Yeah, that's
there you go.
So we'll write it around that. We'll have you start.
I have
it
that
on the-
soundtrack.
See, that's exactly
Right.
it. We'll have her start playing the guitar, and we'll work around it. You should probably play drums. I should play bass. You should play guitar. Would be good. And we all be able to rotate instruments on it. That'll
See,
blow
that's
people's
what they
minds.
think is going to happen.
They'll all be
I'm going
screaming.
to come with a sitar. I'm always going to come with something different. different. I'm like, I got the spoons up in this camp.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll make Vicky play harmonica.
There we go.
It'd just be some
out the
funny
harp.
shaped case, and they'll be like, nobody
What's
knows what
happening?
that is. And then, oh my goodness, Coffee is opening that case up, and what is that?
It's a washboard.
Elephant tusk coming out of one side, and there's some strings hanging off of
I'm
it.
bringing my theremin.
And there's
It's
a
happening.
foot pedal.
It is happening.
I'm just saying. And a kazoo. I got a kazoo. The kazoo
And I got a
is
theremin,
right.
so it's
You
going to happen.
actually own a theremin.
Yeah.
Wow.
She wasn't kidding about that.
She's not playing. She's not playing.
Man.
I'm telling you.
I'm making fun of you guys, but Katie's not right.
Right?
I'm a weirdo.
That's another thing about this band. It's like, it's full of, well,
So we're strange.
see, I don't know. Coffee, you're far too cool to really qualify as a super geek.
Oh,
Right.
You know,
I agree.
But Shelley and me and Katie definitely are all like super nerdy, geeky.
people who know me, I mean, like, look at my socks. I mean, I'm just like, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that.
Are you like the Donnie and Donnie Marie? You showing off like your purple socks and everything, trying to be crazy like that?
He
All
knows
right.
me. I'm
See?
like Donnie and fucking Donnie and Marie. I love like Hall and Oates is my
Are you a
favorite
little bit
goddamn
rock
thing.
and roll?
You're a little bit rock and roll.
I am
Or are
like
you
a
little bit
lot of
country?
it
Shelley's a little
Americana and cornball. That
Yeah.
is.
That's true. You can
I
get
come-
your dork on, I guess.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Get your
here
dork.
she comes. Watch out, boy. She'll cheer you up. I'm not even going to start.
That was an ace.
But
by
I'm the
way.
cool
You
one.
just
You
did.
were.
That was a
yeah.
perfect
Somebody
tritone
did just ask
harmony.
me, so what is it, what is it like hanging out with Coffee Brown all that time? I mean, she's so cool. She's so positive and just always so happy.
It's true.
I know. I was like,
Yeah.
I know. It's great.
I think y'all can hear her smile over the radio.
And that's true. That's
Feel
true.
the
I was
burn.
when you said you were like Donny Osmond, I thought you would be like Donny Osmond if Donny Osmond was Verdine White. Just like this big,
Okay.
you know,
That's right.
smiling, a smile that walks into the room before him, and because that's what,
nice.
yeah,
Smile that
my
knocks
thing,
shit off the
though.
table.
right. Like you gotta hang on to shit because oh shit, here comes Coffee.
I ain't playing. There we go. Nice.
And if you know,
When you went on Coffee went on a cross country trailer situation.
Camping trip.
Yeah, this summer.
did.
But what did you call?
Not an excursion,
She made a.
but a
Oh,
situation.
It was called the joy spreading.
That's right.
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 So me, my girlfriend, and
I've
my
seen that
dog,
movie.
we drove my little 13-inch trailer called Sugar Bean, and our mission was
13-inch would be really.
I'm sorry, 13.
that's like
You had
me
to
riding a
stand up
tricycle.
the whole way.
just be really
It was like
That's
one of
how
those-
it felt.
It's like a chariot,
One wheel.
you know,
Yeah.
like two-wheel chariot.
13-inch.
But you can't really stand on it. It's just enough room for one
Poor
foot.
toe.
Then her.
The toe was on there.
Okay. Meanwhile,
I know, but meanwhile, yeah. And the purpose of the trip, I mean, we went to the parks, national parks, and we toured. But, we were going to spread some joy because
You did.
that
And
is
you
my
did.
purpose, was to spread joy
That is your
and
purpose.
music and
Coffee
life.
Brown is the joy spreader.
It's a good
No
thing
doubt.
you found
No
out
doubt.
that was your purpose.
Our,
Yeah.
music that's my thing, but
Right.
but joy in that, the
Music
energy.
is a
That's
tool
the
for the joy
point.
spreading.
Yes.
It's the
Music
vehicle.
It's a vehicle.
You got it.
That is
Yep.
it's true. Boom. I'm done.
That's why. That's
Boom.
why.
I could just explode and
The joy
become
bomb
energy
just
in
went
it.
off.
Period.
There, we've
Skip
solved
the
it.
needles.
A joy bomb went off.
A joy bomb. Skip the Needles byline is rocking the love.
Rocking
Yes.
the love. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what we do.
So let's get down to the business. Learned of you from the New York Rock Exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so tell us what you're doing with the New York Rock Exchange and how everybody can get
The New York Rock Exchange, this guy Jeff is a great guy. The company is, what they're doing is they're working with bands, independent bands, and they're selling shares. Really
Yeah.
small, tiny bit of ownership of bands. And they're saying, all right, of the songs.
in a song, right?
The
Song
songs,
share, yeah.
And it's just a way to promote the band and get closer and more intimate with your audience and have them feel like they're engaged and they contribute and they own a piece of the song.
So like
Well,
when somebody
let me-
says, that's my jam.
That's right.
That's
It is
literally
your jam.
yeah.
And that's how the yes,
Totally.
I'll
That's
speak
my
for the
jam.
consumer and say if I'm buying a share, and then I get to, of course, boast to my friends that I own a
That's your
a
jam.
share in Skip the Needles
Yeah.
song, and my name is on the copyright.
Yeah.
Tell
get a
us about the
certificate.
design
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
stock certificate because
I know,
that's the
they're
part
really
that I'm going to
beautiful.
hang
Yeah,
on
they're
the wall.
beautiful
Yeah.
embossed certificates that are the mint. that
They're made
makes
out of money.
Yeah, they're made out of
cloth.
money paper, which is gorgeous.
Cool,
And
I know.
yeah, we've all signed it and everything. And it has the song that right now that they have shares is called Lay It Down.
Okay.
When you buy a share, you get the certificate, and then you also get a copy of the album that all the artists. So we're part of a independent music collection. There's 12 different bands on that collection, I believe.
Yeah.
And so you get a copy of that album as well. And you can register your share, basically.
Yeah.
And it also gives you, we haven't done this yet, but they'll,
Shareholder meeting.
thank you very much. Yes. Yeah. Shareholders meeting. You can listen on shareholders meetings. Cool. And yeah.
Okay.
Just
Well,
get closer
you know
to
what? I'm just going to float this out there because we're here at Mindseed and we love Dwayne. Yeah. But you know what Dwayne did one day? He said, Jeff, can you access that database of our shareholders? And he said, yeah, I can. He goes, pull one up. So Jeff went, here's one. This person's a shareholder and she lives in, I don't know, maybe it was Columbus, Georgia.
Yeah, wherever.
No, it was somewhere in the South. I remember that much. It was somewhere in the South. And Dwayne looked at it and went, let's call her.
Oh,
wow.
sweet.
Yeah.
I just called her. And
That's
so,
cool.
yeah, as a listener, as a fan,
Yeah.
her phone rang and I don't know this strange phone number. And she answered it and the voice on the other end said, hi, this is Dwayne Wiggins. I'm calling you just because.
That's
Thanks.
awesome.
That's
Yeah,
really
that's
cool.
cool.
That's very cool.
And then it turns
We
out
should just
she
come to
had
their
been to
house.
several of their shows in her area. And so now whenever, they play around there, she knows she better go to that show because he'll acknowledge her and, hey, how you been?
That's sweet.
Yeah.
See, that's a real good way of just really getting in touch with your fan base.
Right. And
Yeah.
staying really, really in close contact with people, so that they really do feel like they have an investment in you.
Yeah.
you know?
And emotionally, we do have an emotional investment in the artists we follow and the way that, you interact with your fans just deepens that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So here you are with shares outstanding and you have shareholder meetings and all that stuff. What does your certificate actually look like? And did one of you design it or did
No,
they designed
Yeah,
it.
they designed it.
We gave them a photo.
Okay.
So it's a picture of all of us. And then kind of like you were describing, it's a certificate. It's beautiful. It's a
It
gorgeous
is.
thing.
It's the size of an LP, right?
Yeah, it's the size. It's 12 by 12.
That's one of my
and it
favorite
comes-
things about what they do.
Yeah.
Is they, because the generation now hasn't have that. I like to say that
Tactile.
headphones,
Right.
it's tactile. The
Yeah.
tactile experience, like where you sit there
Pick
with the
something
beanbag
up.
and you go through the liner notes
Yes.
and all that stuff. Look for
Yeah.
the hidden messages.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so cool, and it's cool that they're trying to give that back to people.
Absolutely. And it's a little
agree.
piece of that. Yeah. So I think it's all cool. And I think, the more that we play and the more that we reach out and we'll do it again with a new song, and grow the fan base. I think vinyl though is coming back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming back.
Actually
it's coming
coming
back
back.
hard and heavy.
Yeah, really hard and heavy. I think vinyl's always been there and stayed. It's the one thing that has,
Has remained constant.
has remained a constant. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
And-
cassettes. No more cassettes. I mean, I got the cassettes that I have, but I don't think they're going to bring back the cassette.
Yeah. I think
hope not.
like vinyl and download card, man, that's a
Right?
cool way to go. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have my teenage boombox.
Yeah.
Oh, do you?
I don't have anything to play on it, and I think it's a little slow.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That
So if I
happens a
find
lot.
something
That
to
does
play,
happen.
it'd be like, this is what it sounds like when doves cry.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Instead of, it'd be
I
like,
think, I never knew Barry White covered this.
Yeah, that's right. Like this, the current generation, they have no idea what it sounds like as the batteries die in your Walkman.
No.
That was a sad,
Oh,
sad
my
sound.
Oh man, that was.
Or even to scratch a record, like to listen to a scratch record, and that's my song. You know where it's going to scratch, so you just put the
gotta
needle
listen to
over
it,
the scratch, or you put a penny on it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they don't even know. They're
None
like,
of
what
that.
are you talking
Yeah,
about? Like,
what are you
please.
talking
speaking of
about?
skip the needle.
Skip
Yeah.
the needle.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
Like the thing that people don't know. I mean, people have to ask us what it means, but that's what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what it's
When
referring
somebody
to.
says, what does it mean, skip the needle, do you feel like just going, oh, what's wrong with you?
Think.
That's cool. I don't mind.
I don't mind. Vicky probably feels that way.
The other,
She brings the old to the band.
I
There
bring
you
the
go.
old to
There
the
you go.
band. Yes.
No.
wow.
It's true.
With
Like
the
I said,
youngest
you're
energy.
funny.
If you like the show,
and you know you do, support the show.
there are 3 ways you can support us.
Number 1, go to iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you listen to podcasts.
And leave a 5-star rating and review.
It helps with the show metrics and helps us get better placement. Number 2,
Visit our website.
www.breakitdownshow.com.
We've got an Amazon and an eBay link.
Same Amazon, same eBay, you know and love, but they give us a little kickback when you get to their site from ours. And number 3, leave comments about the shows that you like. We want to know what you think, how you feel.
Tell us how to make the show better. We greatly appreciate it.
Now back to the show.
Hey,
I was gonna say, yeah.
Well, let me bring up a vinyl reference. How about this? Did you guys have records that you only heard one side of because you set it up on the thing with the arm that came across, and then the platter on the bottom would drop, and the thing would play it, and then when it was done playing, the arm would move, and the next platter would drop?
Oh, yeah, I had that.
you're talking about the
console.
Right.
Yeah, the
Right,
console.
about the 45s
Yeah.
or LPs too?
Both.
LP.
way, yeah.
I had for the
You could
LP.
do both.
It had that
Yeah.
fancy
We
metal
had a
thing with
long
the
Yes.
little-
console
Yeah.
With a hook on it.
And you could put
you
a
could do
bunch
both.
of
I didn't realize, but I was like 11 when I heard the side 2
The second
Yeah.
side that you never
of Bump City.
That
And I
is
was like,
hysterical.
how come these aren't, is this previously
record?
unreleased material? Yeah, no, that's side 2 of Bump City.
You never turned it over.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Just didn't get there.
I was just the opposite because I would geek out on one record and I would play
Yeah.
that record. I would play that record and play that record.
Flip it.
And
Wear it out.
Still, if you play a song from certain Beatle records or like King Crimson,
Oh,
who knows King Crimson?
Wow.
I would totally geek or anything Zepp. Like I know the songs in order.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I know the next song. Don't you know?
Definitely.
The
Right,
records
right.
that you geeked
Yeah.
out on?
When
Yeah.
the song ended, it had
Oh,
that
yeah.
thing that
Right.
it's going to start.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
songs in the key of life.
Well, you'd always
We
hear.
knew exactly
Right.
how
Exactly.
it was going to transition.
And there was
Yeah.
even the transition. It was even a tempo to, okay, here's
Absolutely.
this
That's-
one leaving and here's the next one coming.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was something that people did with records that they
Yeah.
don't do now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Right.
what I
It
feel
really
is a
is a
lost
They
thing.
made
It's like
transitions.
you
It
make
made
a
like
record.
one long mix.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
could do that
Right.
then.
Yeah.
And
You're-
I
or-
kind of miss that.
Or you could do like
too.
thick as a brick, and where you fade it out, you have the jam go, and then on when the side, because it's all on one side, and then
Yes.
at the end of the one side, the jam just fades out, and then you turn it over,
And it
fades
comes
in,
right back
fades
in.
in. Yeah.
The Isley brothers
That's
did
a
that.
right.
It's the pride.
Well, hey, I'm talking Jethro Tull here.
Oh,
Come on.
okay.
now.
All right. It's all the same.
But see, that's the thing also
Yeah.
about this band is that you can see the different influences.
Right.
Like,
No reference is safe.
no reference is safe. You are absolutely correct.
yeah. We talked
She
with
fell out with thick as a brick.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
Did you have the one with
Man,
it opens up into a newspaper?
Wow.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what I loved about LPs. Yeah. Really don't mind if you sit this one out. Yeah. No, but if you open up the double side, it folds down. It is a newspaper, and it's got crossword puzzles. It's got a
That was
review of
another
the
thing.
of the album,
Wow.
and it's a bad review too. The newspaper reviews the album. It's awesome. It is so great. Yeah, that's
cool.
I have that
do
one at
miss
home.
album art
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Album
you
art.
know,
Album
real
art. Oh,
creativity,
please.
yeah.
and reading
Funkadelic.
every little
Every
tiny thing
word.
about
Yes.
the songs and who
Yeah.
played on them, and
Yep.
like you don't even get to know that anymore.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't
That's-
know
yeah.
who plays what, who played on
That
what
is
cut.
true.
You can't memorize it. You can't figure out. Oh, I like this song. I like these songs because that
So-and-so.
drummer played.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Or you can't look at Scary Monsters and Super Creeps and know that on Boys Keep Swinging they all switched instruments.
Yeah.
You are a trip.
You are, man. Wow. Yeah.
We had Drez from Black Sheep on. Yeah.
What?
But yeah, and he's great. I mean, he drops huge knowledge, and he's deep. And one of the things we talked about is the ability to have an album, 45 minutes, 55 minutes. You can go somewhere. You can
Yes.
take someone on a journey.
Right.
You can have a
Totally.
light, like the Beatles would always have like a leitmotif. You're like, wait, isn't that the song from 3 songs ago?
Right,
you know,
right,
and they were
right,
in-
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
and they could
Yeah.
make you feel things, take it from you, give it back,
Yeah.
make you long for it. And that
Right.
the single song release stuff, just you can't do that.
No.
You know,
Right.
Yeah.
I
It's
remember
really
the
big.
first time I
Really
saw
big.
like iTunes and the list of things that would have been an album, but I had to click on everything and each thing was 99 cents. So I
Yeah.
could unclick stuff. And I was like, this is not right.
Because that one song on the album that you don't never like, you
Right.
know, but you don't have to buy it.
But still,
Right.
I'm being denied that long ride.
Right.
It's not a ride.
Yeah.
It's just a little trip here and there, and you know.
Well, and
you know how you would listen to something, like I said, you would memorize the order that it was in.
Yes.
And the order that it was in was intentional.
Right.
Yeah,
And
'cause it meant
frequently
something.
people now will download songs and they'll come up out of order, you know? They'll just sort of play them out of order. And the person who made that record labored, they
Yeah.
Argued.
and
Yeah.
labored.
Spent so much
Or it
time.
to go in that
Yeah.
order.
The order of the song, so
Oh,
that
yeah.
you go from one thought into a next feeling, into
Exactly.
a next thing.
and it would all set you up for that very last song.
Exactly.
Well, and those damn kids get off the lawn. You know, I have hundreds of vinyl albums in my house. I have 2 turntables, so I definitely I love all this. But at the same time, we have the option to do all this sort of thing. I mean, we could pull a David Lynch and not put any chapter breaks in.
That's
That's
true.
what all his DVDs are released. There's no chapter breaks on them.
Yeah, but you know
watch them
what?
from the
I
beginning
did
to the
not
end.
listen to Love Sexy for like 11 years because it didn't have any, it was one continuous. I was like, that's
is-
annoying.
That is true about
there's
that
options.
record.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had to hear the whole thing. You had to, and that was a little bit annoying.
Well, but if it was on vinyl, you could just put the needle down where you needed it to be. I mean,
Also
Or
true.
cassette, because I have it on cassette.
or on iTunes, you could just move it over. Yeah. Anyway,
We're just saying. I mean, everybody,
That's backwards.
young people going to do their thing. You know what I mean?
That's
But
true.
it's like when
That's
you
another
bring
thing.
back vinyl, it's an option. You got the card
Yeah.
and you got vinyl. And
Right.
if you hear vinyl is a completely different concept. It's a completely different experience.
It's a completely different sonic experience. too.
Oh,
Yeah.
we haven't even gotten
well,
into that.
well, to me, I think one of the keys about it is that since we are all of a certain age, except for Katie, because you're the youngster, we all sort of related to music in our sort of formative years by listening to vinyl. And so we had this experience of having the tactile, and also like me lying on the floor with my mom. So my biggest memory is like, on Sundays we would listen to albums from beginning to end. I would do that thing where I would memorize, who played on this? And, we talk about the lyrics because the lyrics are all written out. So that is part of my personal, experience. It's sort of like maybe our sort of job as people who had that other experience to try to keep bringing that in. And in a way, I kind of feel like that's something, bringing it back to the band, is something that we kind of do by having such fun playing music. And, we're not shoegazers. We're not people who are up there going, oh, this is really deep what I'm doing. And this has been my mission as a musician. Not necessarily I took it unconsciously, but I realized, especially as a woman, through the years who plays lead guitar. I mean, I played other things too, but I always bring it back to that because women are often not expected to be able to play lead and to improvise and all that stuff. So it's sort of like, hey, by the way, just by virtue of my existing, that reminds other women and girls that they can do that too. And I think that it's sort of like what we do when we y'all mentioned how we look like we're having fun just sitting around this table. We do. But when you should see us play music, that's when we're really having fun. It's like just a reminder, music is something, it's a language, and it's a way to connect heart to heart. And it's a way to connect, I don't know. That's it. Yeah.
That's the thing about playing live music that's so important, is that it's an emotional experience. You're not passively watching this, or you're not passively listening to something. You're engaged with it. You're feeling it in your body. You're having emotions. We're watching people actually do this. Even though we play songs that we play over and over again, we do different things in them. So we're improvising, we're making something happen. The songs, the performances are going to be different every time. I'm a firm believer in live music. I mean, that was the thing about the Tonight Show. For 18 years, we played live music.
Yeah.
And even though there were cues and all these things that we were doing, we were still out there improvising, playing live music for 18 years, 5 days a week. There's such freedom in that. Also, you make some kind of ridiculous mistake, which I think I've made every one that you can make, including dropping loud things during Jay's monologue. Bang, bang, bang. Yeah. Here he comes. Oh, Vicky. Yeah. But
Also shouting fuck after doing that.
Yes, indeed.
I shouted it in my mind. I was at least aware. I could remember that there were going to be cameras and lights. Yeah. The ability to just let it go, to have a great time. If you blow something, you're going to have another show, and to get that out.
Yeah.
Like none of the people in this band are precious. None of the people in this band are divas. Rocking musicians. We just go and we do it, and then we do it the next time, and we give it everything. That's my dream in life, you know, is to play this stuff, play it live, throw down everything you have a really good time. It's not about like, one of us isn't trying to be like, you know, push the other ones out of the way. We're not trying to pull a Diana Ross. You know?
Or a Bobby Brown.
Or a Bobby Brown. Yeah.
In front of all you guys.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it really is. This is the most democratic band experience I've ever been in. This is really the first band I've ever been in. This is Vicky talking. You know. Oh, by the way.
Very impressive, by the way.
Yes, I appreciate that live music experiences as a living organic thing, because sometimes the funniest thing that happens is when somebody's laughing at the dinner table and milk comes out of your nose. And the act of that, which is a horrifying, you know, you're mortified because, hey, milk just came out of my nose, but that was hilarious.
Right.
So that musical mistake that you make sometimes is, you know,
is the
terrific.
best part. Yeah.
There are no mistakes, only opportunities.
Yes.
This is a very opportunistic band.
Absolutely.
Super opportunistic.
Well, one of our episodes was with our band leader. We refer to him as our band leader. He wrote our theme song. His name is Corey Jacobs. And he played the piano at the end of the episode, and he, you know, played beautifully, but there's a key that's way out of tune. And he happened to land on that key right at the end of his, you know, and he hit that key, and then he lived on that key. It was hilarious. So, you know, it's just one of those things.
Well, if you play it 3 times in a row, that's what you meant
That's
to
the
do.
way you meant
You
to
got
do it.
you have to commit.
It goes that way.
You know Corey, Vicky?
No, when I listened to your podcast, I heard the music, and
Yeah. Good.
it's brilliant.
I'm quite flattered that you did some research.
Well,
His show is excellent when he talks about playing perfect, and then Sly Stone and George Clinton being like, yeah, that's great. Not good enough what we're doing here, you know? That's not funky enough.
yes.
You know?
Interesting.
It's because, you know, no matter how good you think you are, like you're polished, the master comes in and you're like, oh,
Well, you
Yeah,
gotta
every once
grease.
in a while, you got to let some milk come out of your nose.
Dude, yeah.
That's the funk. That's the grease.
Yeah.
That's that thing.
Right.
That's that thing.
The
that
get
people
down on the
connect
get
to
down.
you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you brought up a good point, Shell. Like, you kids get off my yard. And we celebrate the way music was at some points and how tactile it was and how you got to be moved emotionally. But there are great things about how we do music now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody can sit in their basement and come out with a band all by themselves. Here's my music, you know?
And distribute it and
Right.
promote it
Right.
and get
Exactly.
fans from it. And this is the perfect time to me for independent artists.
Right.
Because if you can be creative and think of it, then you can make it happen and you can get fans and you can actually live off your music. You know, and I think that we're having fun with it and we're doing it and we're going to do what we do. But I believe if we thought to ourselves, oh, hey, let's try to make a business out of this, we could. Now, I don't know. At this point, I just want to have fun. I want to go on stage. I want to make music. And if it comes, that's wonderful. That's beautiful. But I think we're at a time, at no other time in the world has it been so easy to get your music out to so many people. And so it should be inspiring to people.
It should.
And you can do anything and get it out there to millions of people, you know?
Yeah, it's really
It's not
intense.
going to be
I
like
mean,
this in 20 years.
No.
And
No.
everything is going to be, you're going to have to pay for it. You're going to have to,
Right.
you know, like YouTube and all of that stuff.
And even if you don't have a particular talent, like if you're not virtuosic on an instrument, I watched Jimmy Fallon show the other day with Will Smith, and they had an app on a tablet.
I saw that.
Right.
Yeah, and they just beatboxed a song together in seconds. Now, granted, they'd probably practiced it before,
Yeah,
but
but-
anybody can do that and then
Right.
create a piece of music that no one's ever heard before.
Yeah, but that's also shitty.
Well, see, okay, so you can have that argument, right? Is that music? You have a DJ playing. You just, you know, you copying. I think music is creative.
Music is music.
It's creative.
If it moves you, that's great. My point, though, and I'm reinforcing what you're saying here, especially going back to the get off my lawn and how that experience works, because it's also, some people say you can't sell records anymore. And for a lot of people, that's true. But you know what you can sell? good records.
Yeah.
Well,
that's right.
And the
You
whole
know?
not being able to sell
Right.
records. I mean, you're wearing the Epic Records T-shirt, but the fact of the matter is the paradigm of the major label never helped the artist.
That's
It
right.
never helped
It
the
was
artist.
never. It was
Right.
never. It was
Right.
never
What did that
selling
do
the
for
record.
the artist?
It
What
was the
did-
touring, and there's no way to make money
Absolutely.
off of.
So now we have democratized music, and now we all get to put out what we're, our creative efforts.
Absolutely.
But still, for people to digest them, you can
Right.
say you can put this out to millions of people, but you will put it out to 11 people if it's not good.
That's right.
Right. Well, it's an oversaturated market.
But that's the whole point.
Right.
So it's open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all overstimulated and it's an oversaturated market, but I think it does depend on where you put your energy and what you put into it. And careers are built, it's crazy. I have mixed feelings. Careers are built off of like a YouTube video that has, 3 million likes or something. And then this person's touring the world. That person may not have what we might consider all the talents of, all the people we know in our lives that don't tour the world. However, it does sort of,
That was
it kind of
diplomatic.
depends on what,
See, I think it's all subjective.
you know what I mean though? Like it is all subjective
all-
and it's
to me,
Dude,
it's
when we were young, didn't we listen to the Monkees and freaking
everything.
we listened to that was a
Everything.
completely. I
know what you're saying.
I have great love for Peter Torke's
Manufactured.
Yeah.
But they were a manufactured band. They were put together. People auditioned for it. They were put together.
Yeah.
That's just one example.
Right,
Of,
right.
It wasn't organic.
Right.
It was put together. It was marketed. They put it on TV every day, and 12-year-old girls
Yes,
fell
yeah.
out because they were,
It was for that.
yeah,
Right.
it was for
Yeah.
that, and that's always going to be here. There's always going to be,
Gingham style.
Somebody
I was
who has,
more
Gangnam
somebody
Style.
loves
There's
out the
always gonna
recipe.
be- There's always going to be something
There's always
that
gonna be boy
happens,
bands.
and it's going to be for mass consumption.
I was always
it's
more of a
entry
Banana
level.
Splits fan.
As you start gaining getting like what it is you really like. Like,
Yes.
I really like funk music.
Yeah.
I really like funk music. And
Yeah.
you start looking it up.
Yeah.
You start exploring and figuring it out.
Yeah.
And maybe this person that you like has only ever sold 11 CDs.
Yeah,
Right.
that's fine because
Yep.
I
But now
Right.
you
freaking
and all
dig
of your
it.
friends buy
You
that
know?
And it's your choice.
And that's
You know?
and that's what I'm saying. It's like this idea of scarcity. There's no oversaturation, in my opinion. It's like
Yeah.
the world, you can do it. It's
There's
not,
just more opportunity.
There's more opportunity. It's
Yeah.
just how you look at it. It's a perspective, right? And if 1 million people are buying something that we think is whack, that's fine. And only 11 people are buying something that you think is dope, But there's something on the flip side of that, I think. And I think people just got to get in there and you got to do your art. If that's what you want, you got to do your creativity and just let it happen and do it.
yeah.
Every show we do, you can see somebody's face just change.
They do.
They come, they wander in, and they'll be like,
Yeah.
like, or whatever it is. They don't know who we are. They're not emotionally invested. You know how we all walk into clubs and look
Absolutely.
at the bandstand
Yep.
and go, well,
all
I
right,
wonder
let's
what
see
this
what's
is
gonna
going to be
happen.
like. Yeah. And then, we start the first song. We usually start
Yeah.
with doom, 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 doom,
Yeah.
or whatever it is. We start the first song and people just their heads whip around.
Yeah.
I want to be in that band. I want to be in that band where we
Right.
surprise people every
Yes.
single
Every
time
single
we go
time.
on
Yes.
stage.
And every song.
And every song. And it's all different.
And by the
all
end of the
different.
You know
show,
what? Yep.
people are down in front screaming
Yep.
with me.
Yep.
Because
Yes.
I want that. That's
That's the intention and that's what we do.
exactly what
And there are
we do.
millions of bands who are doing something else.
And if you
And it has
haven't
nothing
seen
to
our
do with
band,
us.
you need to come see our band.
Wait,
find
before
out
we
about
find out where you're playing next, because we
Yeah.
definitely want to plug that stuff. But I just want to say this because you haven't
He's
played a
pointing
note
finger.
tonight. I have my
I
finger
want
up.
you to. He
It's
has
like, I am
is
not
up.
playing around, fingers.
I'm the
You
host.
are not
But
playing
the
around.
thing is, you have not played a note this evening,
no.
and I am in mad love with every single one of the four of you because you guys are crazy.
Right on.
We
Yeah.
will have a
All our gigs are
skiptheneedle.com,
on
but
there.
at the moment we have a Facebook page.
All right.
And
We were thinking earlier on, we were like, we're not going to have any internet presence. We're just going to, you have to,
That
have
was
to
her
find
idea.
out. It was.
Yeah.
See, that's me. I'm like, we're just going to play.
Yeah.
And they're going to come and see us and they're going to be like, damn, y'all are good. And then wherever y'all play, we're going to find you. And
Well, that's pretty
right.
much
right.
what has happened. It's
'Cause
true.
we actually
She was-
don't have
I
a-
thought she was like.
This is what's known as organic growth.
this is a very organic
Yeah,
band. This is like,
Until
we
a
have a
certain point.
show. oh, we should make some songs.
Oh, we should make some songs.
Oh, we have another show. Maybe we should
have
play.
enough songs. I know. We don't have enough songs. When we first started playing, we only had enough songs to play the 30-minute show
20
that we had played.
Yeah.
So then somebody hired us to play a 45-minute show. We had to go and write songs.
Some new songs.
Yeah.
Which was
But they were
not
dope songs.
hard
Yeah.
to do at all. Then we
Yeah.
were like, okay,
And now we do
have to
have
stop
songs,
writing.
but when we have practice, we
write new
have a
songs.
3 hours practice, so 2 hours and 45
I really
minutes
think we should
is
run the set.
working on
A new song.
that's,
a new
that's what
song.
Katie says. I think we should run the set now.
Process
Whatever
as
we
much
do.
as a sorting process.
That's
Like,
exactly right.
Let's take some of this stuff that we did and just capture it so we could do it again. Because
Yeah.
you could just
Yeah.
keep
Oh,
going.
yeah.
And
We roll
that's
tape
what
all the time.
happens
I
because
also
we
want-
capture it and then we do
Yeah,
it
we
again.
re-roll
Right.
tape as soon
Oh
as
my
I
God.
stick my little HN4. I start it up as soon as we walk in the room, and just don't mess with
Yeah.
it because you never know what you're going to capture.
We also
Right.
have some.
The
We have
beauty
some
of
product
technology.
thanks to
Oh, yes.
Eric Schramm in the Palace of Tone.
Palace of
Yes.
Tone.
Eric Schramm,
Eric Schramm.
who is like a guitar god,
Absolutely.
fell in love with our band, and I am so happy because he said, "Why don't you guys come down and we'll just do 2 days and we'll throw down all your songs." So we made like a 9 song 8-song EP.
Have you ladies seen the Wrecking Crew movie?
Oh no, but I'm looking
Oh,
forward
it's
to
coming
it.
out in
I
March,
can't wait
right
to
around
see
the time
that.
the show
Oh,
should
yeah.
come
Nice.
out.
It's
And
awesome.
It is so good. I mean, it's a perfect movie. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that movie at all.
Oh, that's awesome.
Speaking of the
I can't
monkeys.
And
wait.
speaking of people crying, I'm pointing at John right now, and I easily could have cried. I just didn't let myself.
Did you
do it.
have the movie?
Every
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Every time.
I've seen the movie like 4 or 5 times, and I cry every time. Every time that I've seen the movie, it's been, I cut the movie and it's great and we're going to do a fundraiser. So then I'd go to wherever the fundraiser was and see how he was doing and like, oh, it's so tough and it's getting close. But then I had to mortgage the house and 19 years I've been working on this movie. And then
Wow.
I'd see it the next time and he'd go, oh, you got to come see the movie. I talked to Leon Russell. And so we cut his stuff in.
Oh, man.
And yeah, so finally he got a distribution deal with Magnolia Pictures.
Nice.
And Magnolia Pictures did Blackfish.
Yeah, they did Blackfish.
Yeah, workup movie.
They did a few things.
They did,
And Jiro Dreams
I'm
of
trying to
Sushi,
think.
which
Yeah,
was
that-
brilliant.
I loved that film.
Wow.
They did a lot of movies, yeah.
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 So the very last screening that was a fundraiser, while the movie was still his, before he turned it over, he did 2 screenings in an evening. And the first screening we watched, and then the second screening while it was, because he'd introduce the movie, and then you'd watch the movie, and then he'd come back and do a Q&A. So the second one, he introduced the film, and then we went back to like a makeup room at Solano Community College, and he did our podcast,
Nice.
Oh,
and then went back out for the Q&A.
Oh, cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And at the end of our interview, we had so much fun, and we were laughing. We did a little bit of drinking too, because he was like, "This is it, man. This is it." Okay, great. Let's have some drinks. So we had some celebratory Bud Light Limeritas or some
Oh man.
Something
cheap ass booze.
hideous.
Something horrible.
And then he went, "Oh, look,
Nice
listen,
taste in
the movie's over.
whatever,
I gotta go,
dude."
guys." And we were like, "Okay." And he goes, "I really need to pee." And then he got up and he answered questions for 40 minutes.
Ooh, poor guy.
With his legs crossed.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. So now, where were we?
Good story.
Yeah.
Good story. Yeah, that's awesome.
One of the things that I really like about that was that it's so much about the way that music moves you and makes you feel things.
Yeah.
Not just the thing that it makes you feel, but about how it makes you feel all kinds of things.
Music is a time traveler.
Yes.
You can time travel with music. You
Right.
can hear a song, and for me, I know it'll take me back
Immediately.
till I'm 7 years old, sitting in the big green tree chair, and I'm smelling bacon.
Yeah.
That's
You know,
all.
Yeah.
you know, that's my kids get off my lawn moment with music is that I cannot stand to listen to commercial radio these days because so much of what I hear, I don't feel any I don't feel not just my own emotional content, connection to it. I don't hear any emotional content coming out of it. I know I'm real nitpicky about that, and I don't know if it's necessarily even true, but most of the like popular stuff, that's on the commercial radio, to me, it sounds like, okay, that's great production, but it doesn't feel like someone is really feeling it. It's like they're going through all the motions of this is what it sounds like when I do this, and this is how you do this interval. I don't hear or feel the emotional connection or content that's actually within the music, and I can't stand that. And it like literally makes me angry. Like I'll be in the car with my wife, and she'll have on like the radio, and like some pop song will come on that. For all I know, maybe that person really did bleed to write that song. But since I don't, what I'm hearing is just like,
super contrived.
And and it literally makes me mad.
And they're robbing you.
But wait a minute, no, you know what it
minutes.
is?
You will never get back.
This is what I think it is, and I don't know this. Sure. I think it's your brain. But if you were 16, I don't care what is on, that's going to stay with you. Yeah. And I think that's what happens when you're in high school and when you're or junior high. Music, I think, hits you in a different way. Right. And what we hear today, we're not hearing it the way a young person is hearing it. Because you know what? That young person is like, they're going to kiss somebody for the first time, or they got a crush, or Lady Gaga fucking thing came on. What's that song that she sings? Not Poker Face, Celebrity? No, Paparazzi. Cause that's big now. Yeah. And everybody's got cell phones, and now you're in school, and that cute girl, and you're like, oh man. And those memories are connected to your brain growing. I believe that. I
believe it too.
Yeah. So that's all.
Well, that's the same thing I was saying, half an hour ago, just in a different context. It's like that's how we remember, becoming associated with music in an age. And that's very likely, but at the same time, there is also a lot of contrived shit out there.
There is, because I remember being in high school listening to shit that was not happening then. It was, like all the stuff I loved happened when I was like 2 or, before I was born. And so those moments happened to those songs, not necessarily the pop, not necessarily the pop songs. But I hear what you're saying, and I do agree with what you're saying.
Okay, go ahead. Just real quick, because I used to hate, I grew up with hip hop. I love hip hop. I love some hip hop. I'm an old head with hip hop. And Mace, remember Mace and Puffy? Yeah, I'm Mace. I could do that. I don't know. It was like Hollywood swinging, and it was the whole song. I hated it. And that was like, I hated Mace. I hated Puff. They were shiny. They were ruining hip hop. Right. I was driving down the street, and that was probably 15 years ago. I heard that, and I was like, oh, snap. And it took me back when I used to play the Agenda Lounge in San Jose, and I was like, I cannot believe this song, this guy that I hate,
did it
is
to you.
Flipping these memories on.
Right.
Yeah.
Mace be the one that'll take you home.
And have a suit on too big. Like
have a suit on too big. And it was all like, I don't know what kind of material, rayon? It was just like, yo, Puff, we don't stop. Tell you that we don't stop. I hated him. I did.
This is the first time I think I've ever seen her say anything even
that's
remotely
terrible.
like
that.
I
say the word hate.
But Mace is the worst rapper ever. Sorry. I said that on this. I'm standing by it.
No, I hated when David Byrne's suit was too big. So it's something about the baggy suit.
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
A lot of that music, though, it really is entry-level music. It's music you can understand when you're 13.
That's
and you don't know. It's
like
you walk into a Chinese place, like, I'm going to get orange chicken.
Yes.
Come on. You got to be kidding me.
Try a little harder.
But
that's the thing.
Would you like
now,
pad thai?
though,
that
we are exposed and that we've been to emotional places with music and that we expect that journey. Yeah. It's not good enough.
Yes.
Right.
So now I have to wonder, like my dad was a sax player. So when I was growing up, I listened to a lot of music that had horn arrangements and it was complicated for, a kid to digest. Morris Day saying, go on a walk, Terry. Man, that sucked me in. But I'm sure my dad walked by my bedroom and go, gee, what's going on in here?
I don't know, the time was hot.
See what I'm saying?
One of the things that I think is really also important about packaged music that's happening today is to know that the same 10 people are writing most of these tunes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The same 10 people are writing most of these tunes. They're producing most of these tunes. They have a stable of artists who are all working on each other's songs. And that's why it all sounds the same. That's why, you can't tell the difference between a country hit and a rock hit and a pop hit and a hip hop hit. An R&B hit, because they're all intermingling right now. This is a peculiar time in music that has happened. It's happened before. Yeah. It happened during the disco.
When Lionel Richie wrote all Kenny Rogers songs as well.
Please. I know. I know.
Sail on down
You know, Vicky
the
toured
line.
with Lionel.
Yeah,
for-
bring it right now.
Yeah, you know, so she was there.
I was there. And I know. I actually said to him, Lionel, come on, you can tell me. Say you, say me, say it together naturally. Really? He was like, Oscar.
Right?
What an Oscar? I was like, I can't argue with you.
You can't.
Easy
But-
like Sunday morning.
Exactly.
But
Commodores.
part of that part of the problem that I have with that music and that approach is that it is formulaic. It is machine. It's like machine. It's a machine, and it just stamps out things. But it's also stamping out stereotypes. They're not even. I don't even understand how the kinds of gender stereotypes and racial stereotypes, but specifically, especially in the context of this band, because we're 4 women, the gender stereotypes that are being really, really digging in again with this, like, girls do this and boys can do that. Boys can take what they want and girls are supposed to wait. And it was like, and all of this BS about, here, I've just gone off the rails.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But
No.
do you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
it seems like it's
It
going
seems
backwards.
ancient
Yeah,
history.
it does
seems
seem
like
ancient.
The way that people thought in the 50s, and nobody thinks that way anymore. You talk to any 8-year-old today, and they go, "Oh yeah, I know gay people, whatever. I don't know why my mom's having such a problem with that."
Right.
You know, they're getting reinforced, these gender stereotypes and weird stereotypes that I thought we had
That we thought we'd
dispensed
overcome.
with. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the part of it that I'm not digging as much. I mean, I also don't like formulaic music as much as I like listening to somebody sit down at a piano or play a guitar
right.
and sing something that was just, or watching Annie Lennox on TV.
Well, I was going to say, stuff is so highly overproduced now that a lot of these bands, when you see them live on these award shows, they don't sound that good because they can't sing that
How
well
about
because
AC/DC?
they can, there's such massive overproduction happening, and that's why I think Annie Lennox came out and just killed, because that woman has one of the best voices in the world.
Yeah.
But also, it's like people were blown away because they're not hearing that anymore these
That's
days,
what she does.
The pure voice
Yeah.
and the
She
energy,
did.
though.
Yeah,
the energy
totally.
that she brought to it.
She
the
just-
actual,
All of
hey,
it.
I can do this, and watch me, and I'm
Right.
gonna have fun
And
with it.
get out of
and-
my way.
Right.
Yeah,
Let's
more
do
than
this.
anything.
And I don't give a
else.
shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Like when she's like dancing around on stage, there's lots of people that wouldn't just be that free.
Opening the show with AC/DC. I loved that, man.
That was
I didn't-
amazing.
I loved that.
That was amazing because there was no pyro, there was no
there was
trap
nothing. They
beats.
just played.
They
They
just
just
came
played.
out
and
They
kicked
came out
pyro.
and they just
Yeah.
fucking
Oh
played.
man, I gotta
Yep.
see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't. Fucking
and-
AC/DC, man.
Yeah. That's a thing. I mean,
And we're watching that thing, and I'm
eventually-
looking at Chris Slade on the drums, and Pete falls out with, he's 68 years old.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Dudes can't
And
hardly
Those
walk.
guys.
I
They
think
can't
Angus
hardly
is
walk.
131.
Dude, Angus-
They can't
You know.
hardly walk. Yeah.
Looks
they can rock.
131.
Yes.
Well, see, I'm trying not to be so. I hear what we're all saying. That it's in taste change, right? And taste grow and taste develop. I think these young kids are out there, man, and they got a bunch of junk out there. But I think there's also a lot of good music
There's a
out
lot of
there.
quality
There
There's
is, yeah.
a lot of good music. Like, we went,
true.
traveling across the country. We were in Nashville, and it was music. We were at
Yeah.
a park, and they were just bands playing. And they were good bands playing and singing, and violins
Yes.
and banjos and guitars, and
Well,
it's
again, I have to reiterate. I'm talking about when I turn on the radio and I listen to
Exactly.
top 40
popular music,
that,
pop music.
or whatever that is that I don't even know what they call it now, but whatever it is that they play, where you
Yeah.
hear the same songs every 20 minutes. And
Yeah, I think
that
radio
stuff,
is like that. And I think, Vicky, you made a good point where it's like this group of producers are
Right.
producing everything that we hear on the radio.
Right.
And I think radio is top 40 right now. It's top 10 or whatever. So,
Yeah.
but that's radio.
Yeah,
and I think
That's always
that,
been
that,
radio.
and that's
Yeah.
that was always my
Right,
point. Like
right.
that's why
I
I
got
can't
you.
listen to the radio.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of amazing music out there.
Yeah.
And the
so,
point
for
that
sure.
Pete made about
Yeah.
entry-level music.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
all of us heard whatever was being
yeah.
thrown at us,
Yeah.
whatever was, mass consumption. And then we went looking for what,
Yes.
we went looking for our path.
Yeah,
we went
deeper.
looking for the thing
Yes.
that made us happy.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
Larry Graham going,
Yes.
is that really all of my head? Yeah, playing the bass like a drum.
Yeah.
Well, or for me, like hearing Dave.
Something good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, well,
Rufus is underrated.
Oh,
band Rufus.
it's not possible for Rufus.
Clara Fisher on the strings. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right. I ain't gonna go off on Rufus.
Not the first time Claire Fisher has come up on this podcast.
That's
No,
right.
Claire Fisher.
Was.
Yeah.
Claire Fisher.
Yeah.
Oh.
Gorgeous.
The stuff with the younger artists is all, we're all trying to understand it.
Yeah.
They're coming out with things. I mean, Robert Johnson did 28 songs,
And died at 27.
Yeah. And
Right.
had a
Yeah.
massive,
Right.
still has a massive impact. Eric Clapton says, I can't even play every note he pulled out of that thing. I don't know. Eric Clapton doesn't know how he did it.
Yeah.
So there's dudes out there who are absolutely doing it. And I kind of was getting to before is you don't have to necessarily be good on the bass. You can do that from your computer with keys. You hear a sound, like I heard a sound in the Paris train station, and just the sound like the alarm, but it was the beginning of a song.
Right.
I'm not enough of a musician to translate that into anything. But if I had a computer and I learned, I could press S, Control S, or whatever it is, and drag a line and be like, that's my sound. And it could be that there's some dude out there who has no virtuosity with the guitar or a harp or anything else, but that's his journey. That's their beginning. And he or she creates this.
That's how hip hop started.
Yes.
And it's going to come
Absolutely.
from somewhere different that we don't expect.
And, and people
Absolutely.
complained about it using records.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
Right.
not music.
Right,
That's
exactly.
not music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But it was transforming
used-
music.
Yeah.
you used
I
the
mean,
sounds
Terminator
that you
X.
Mm-hmm.
You can't distinguish those samples that he used.
That's right.
You just,
Yeah.
or Red Alert, DJ Red Alert. I mean,
Or you can, like Dr. Dre, and he's like, here's G-Funk. And you're like, holy shit, what did you just do? You
that
know?
was the ink spots,
Yeah.
that he sampled.
Yeah.
So they're going digging way back in the
Yes.
crates and they're making it interesting. So I think all of that is music. It's how
all fair
creative
game.
you get with it. Absolutely.
It's all and emotional content.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, and some of that is born of limitation, because
Yes.
the situation you described, Pete, was somebody who didn't have, you're saying they didn't have a talent to play guitar. Maybe they couldn't get their
buy a
hands on a
guitar.
guitar.
Right.
So they were using what they had. And to milk the creativity out of whatever it is you can put your hands
You
on.
can't
Absolutely.
stop
There's a
somebody
genius
from
of
being
that.
creative.
That's right.
You
Exactly.
can't stop them. Or we'll figure
Or
out
the-
how to do it with, yes. Yes,
Just beatboxing,
exactly.
whatever.
Exactly. Yes.
Coffee brown, coffee brown, coffee brown.
Drops the mic.
We had Tommy McElroy on, and he had a moment. He got that beat. He was trying to program a machine that they got new, and they're trying to get sounds out of it. So he gets the song, the beat to come out of Why You Treat Me So Bad. And that song, how many songs has that inspired that, that beat that has?
But don't.
Oh, dun dun, dun dun.
Yeah.
Who is that? They sang Rumors.
Yeah, exactly.
From around. Yeah.
Timex Social Club?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why you treat me so bad? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah.
Club
dun,
Nouveau,
dun.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Club,
I mean-
Club Nouveau.
yeah.
Club-
But he was in there working that machine, and
Yeah.
it was a new machine for him, and they were trying to get a sound, and then the sound comes out, and it's like, there's
That's
a song. And that song inspires. I got 5 on it, and all these other
Yes.
songs that
Yeah.
come after with that same hit,
Yes.
And that's what we're looking for, is that person in that garage somewhere who's just working it, and they
And it's going to
find it.
bring it out.
Yes.
Bring it out.
That's how Beck got there. That's how Trent Reznor got there. That's how all kinds of people got there. They were better than the industry, so the industry had to accept them.
Yeah.
D'Angelo
Yeah.
doesn't need the industry's help. He's going to make genius music no matter what he does.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Skip the Needle's on the verge of something. So here's the thing. We could do this endlessly.
Yeah.
And I will say this, and I'll speak for Pete. Anytime you want to do this, anything that you have to promote, any shows you have coming up, I will come running. I think Pete will too.
Thanks,
Yeah, I'll be
man.
there.
Thank
I'm
you.
tweeting right now how
Yeah.
awesome you are.
Totally appreciate that.
Right
on.
on. Thanks. you guys.
This is the highest number of people we've
Oh,
ever
wow.
had on
Yeah.
our podcast.
I'm pretty impressed y'all got this together this fast. No,
Yeah.
this is
You
you
really
guys are
did.
great, and it's really clear how much you love music.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like love.
I loved all the references too.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Birds
part
of
the
a
fun
feather
of
in
it.
here.
Yeah.